Welcome to Small Talk with Kenya and Dawn. I'm Dawn.
And I'm Kenya.
So we are back with part 2 and we're discussing depression. So where we left off last time was how are we going to move into coming out of depression, right? So for me, I said it was kind of recognizing what it was after I had some medication to try to level me out some, but it did more than just level me out. It had me feeling absolutely nothing. But like I said before, until I realized that I had to surrender and I had to submit, that was my breakthrough of how I was able to come out of the depression that I was in. What about you? When you recognize, and I really want to go back to that postpartum.
Okay.
When you discussed that in the last episode, that's something women deal with, and it's real.
It's real.
People think, she's being dramatic. She just had a baby.
Hormones.
Just hormones, but it's real.
It's really real.
I don't care how you spin it. It's real. It's things that happen because we've talked about other kinds of trauma as far as things, people doing things to us, and we will have that conversation at another time.
Yeah.
But things that we go through in life. But unless you have had a baby, you don't know what type of trauma your body has just gone through.
Yes.
From start to finish. So let's go back a little bit. At the start of it, morning sickness.
Oh, Jesus.
Alondra, I didn't have morning sickness with Jocelyn or Kendra.
Wow.
Alondra laid it on me.
Wow.
I couldn't do anything. I mean, I crawled places, and then I still had two toddlers that I had. They weren't toddlers, but 4 and 5. I guess they were kind of toddlers. But I'm dealing with them. I'm crawling places. I couldn't even get up and cook anything. I felt so bad that my kids were eating Pop-Tarts and cereal because I couldn't stand the smell of food. And what made it so bad, I had no family around.
Oh, man.
My husband was gone.
Wow.
And I'm stuck with these two.
Yeah.
Luckily, oh Lord, please, Jocelyn was being Jocelyn, who she is, and she was taking charge, you know? At 5 years old, she was taking 4. She was actually 4 at the time. She was taking charge of things. So she was kind of running stuff and helping, and she knew how to make a bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
She knew how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for Kendra. So my kids were surviving that way because I was surviving.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so go into your whole body just changing.
Yes.
And it's like, goodness gracious, again. And that third one, I'm telling you, she really did something to me of where I really, really felt that pregnancy. And I felt it, oh gosh, in so many different ways. And my mind just, like my whole mindset had changed with things. So you get to a place of where you have the baby, right? Your body is trying to now readjust and go back kind of to where you were before, but it's never really gonna go back to where it was before.
Never.
Because every pregnancy is different.
It is.
But it's just an array of feelings. It's an array of emotions. So you're dealing with that mentally. You're dealing with the physical changes. And then the hormonal changes. No sleep. You're taking care of, for me, I'm taking care of other children. I mean, my other 2 children. I got this newborn baby that's here. It was a lot.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that I had postpartum depression, but I did feel the changes in my body that were going on. But with your postpartum depression, when you recognized what it was, how were you able to bring yourself back to what I'll just say a normal state of what you were previously before, or a version close to what you were?
Yeah. I'm going to start by saying I didn't even recognize I had it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So even the second time, the thing that brought me out of it was a thing of almost like discipline.
Mm.
And it was discipline from other people
Mm-hmm.
because they were, what's wrong with you? And
Mm.
stop doing that and don't say that and those kinds of things, which has always been kind of like a coping mechanism for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you, I'm going to beat this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, because I was going to beat this thing and the expectation was me to just stop doing the act and just get back to what was normal for them,
Mhm.
for me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever dealt with the thing.
Wow.
I don't even know if I knew what the thing was.
Mm-hmm.
But just that discipline and that expectation of people trying to get me back to what was my norm,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I think it was just that, the discipline and hearing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Are you crazy? Are you losing your mind? Girl,
Mhm.
stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like a shaming.
What just popped in my mind is that part of our culture.
It is. I truly, truly believe that
Mhm.
because I hear so much now of women trying to fight for someone just to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another part of changing that narrative.
Mhm.
We have to respect how people feel because
Mhm.
you just said every pregnancy is different.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about how sick you were.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about, I used to think about this all the time. I used to look at women and you hear people say, oh, you got the pregnancy glow. And you hear people talk about how great their pregnancy was. And all three of mine were horrible. It was like I was fighting for my life.
I don't mean to laugh, but I know what you mean.
I literally was fighting for my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, even with the last one, it was just like, I'm just gonna die. I used to tell my husband, just tell kids I love them
Mhm.
because I just can't do this no more. Because you talked about, I don't think it's explained a lot what pregnancy does to your body.
Mm.
It literally causes trauma. You have a baby inside of you, shifting your internal organs, all kinds of things. The effects of the back problems that comes from the medications and the itching and all of those things that come from all of those things are happening to your body. And
You're making me relive Kendra.
It is like you literally fight for your life.
And today is her birthday.
Oh my God.
So you're making me relive this. Oh goodness. When you said the movement,
Yes.
Kendra would literally, we're just gonna pause here. She would be here, her head would be here, and her feet were here. And I would lay out, my husband would be driving, and I would just take the seat and lay it all the way back, just to try to get some relief.
Yeah.
Then there were times where she would be here, and then she was here. I promise you, I would lay across him. My head is across his lap, and my feet, my legs were hanging out the window
Oh my goodness.
while we were driving.
Wow.
Because I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
She hurt me on the inside.
You literally are.
She hurt me on the inside. I'm sorry, I had to get that out. Happy birthday, Kendra.
It is. It is literally trauma.
It is trauma.
to your body.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. And then you go through that stage of when you give birth. It's traumatic. It's no wonder why women do suffer from postpartum.
Absolutely.
But now, I think because we are able to recognize it, we're able to see, what it is because it's come to the forefront.
Yeah.
And it's not just, oh, she's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She wants attention.
Right.
She wants somebody to look at her more than she wants them to pay attention to the baby.
Absolutely. And that's something that people say a lot.
Yeah.
To dismiss the person that brought the life into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a lot to deal with.
It is.
And like I said, postpartum is
It's
real.
real. And don't have a C-section. No, don't have an emergency C-section.
Yeah.
I remember with my last child, Oh my God. I went into labor early, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I just remember I was already in the hospital. I just remember my husband kind of stumbling around, but the cord was wrapped around her neck, and I had to have an emergency C-section. And I remember they didn't even give me time they didn't give the anesthesia time to numb me. I remember passing out from the pain of feeling them rip my abdomen over. I remember my body was laying there shaking like this for them trying to open my abdomen up. And I remember my husband, right before they took me in, I just saw the look on his face, and I was like, God, I just, just forgive me, because I know this is it. And you think after that, the mother doesn't really get to heal after the birth.
No.
Because you are instantly the mother. You gotta breastfeed, you have to bond, you have to change pamper, you have to do all of these things.
That's right.
So when do we learn to identify that we have to pay more attention to the mother than the beautiful bundle of joy that they just brought into this world, and literally check in on these mothers? Because you said it, every pregnancy is different.
It's different.
And all of them are not good. So we really need to pay attention to that.
We do. And it's easy. It is so easy to slip into that state.
Yes.
When you have so many things that are going on around you, things that you still have to take care of.
That part. And we, as women, as mothers, we're going to push right past them, take care of the things. A year has passed, and you still haven't dealt with everything that just happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
We still haven't dealt with that stuff. So now let's hope that we can get to a place of where we're going to start to come out of it, that we are going to start dealing with those things.
And paying attention to our women. Paying attention just to people in general.
Yeah. Pay attention to things of what's going on. If you see someone that may be a little off. I did it the other day. I saw somebody that just didn't look like themselves. Shot them a text. It was something happening.
Wow.
And they were appreciative that I recognized it. People want to not just be seen, but they want to really be seen in a way of that you are paying attention to them, that you can recognize certain things within them to when they may need a little extra help, or you might need that conversation and say, yeah, I'm dealing with something. I'm going through something right now. And I didn't think anybody really cared. That's why I kept it to myself.
That's it.
I didn't think anybody recognized. I didn't think anybody paid attention to me. So, and I think it's almost a relief when somebody can look at you and say, hey, are you okay? And it happened with one of my coworkers one time, and she just didn't seem right. And I said, she seems a little off today. So she went to her office, and I left out of mine, and I went on around there. And I said, hey, you doing okay?
Wow.
And she said, you saw that? Man, we've worked together for about 3 years now. I know something's not right. And she just broke down.
People have to not just hear, but to really know that they matter to other people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Let people know that they matter.
Right.
Let people know that you are paying attention to them, and that you're just, it's not like you're just walking, walking past another person on the street, but you actually care about them. And I think that's one way to also recognize when someone's possibly in that depressive state, because you can see a difference within their mannerisms. You can hear a difference within their conversation, just the way they go about their regular day. Also, you learn a lot about stuff on social media. Pay attention to people's posts that they make.
Okay.
Watch those things. I seen some things that I didn't like, even today. Seen something I didn't like. And I immediately reached out to someone and said, you need to look into this for this person. you need to pay attention to this, because to me these are red flags, and a lot of times we gloss over those things. Oh, they just looking for attention. They just want somebody to like their post.
Yeah.
They just want some comments, and they want some new followers, and they want this and they want that. No, when you see certain things that are out of the norm, it seems to me that somebody is looking for some help.
Yeah.
They're not looking for attention. They're not attention seeking, but it's a cry for help.
Yeah.
And pay attention to that. Because then you'll go back and you'll look at the signs and you'll say, man,
I wish I would have paid.
I wish I would have called him on the phone. I wish I would have paid him a visit. You can intercept more than what you think you can. But that also, and just as individuals, we got to get out of ourselves and stop making assumptions about what somebody else may look like, and ask.
Yeah.
Just have a conversation. Just ask.
Yeah.
You know, that means a lot to people. That really does. Just like what you were talking about with the lady on the street down at the church. That meant a lot to her.
That somebody saw her.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Some people may want to just be seen, but that can't be a blanket statement for everybody.
No.
Because just as you said, once it starts looking different, it starts to shift. You have to look at, where's that person? Where's the person inside of that person?
Yeah.
Where's that normal person inside of it?
Yep.
And you know, I've heard people say, oh, it's just a shell of a person. And literally, it is almost like that. Because just like I said, in my experience, it was almost like I was outside of my body looking. And if you've never had that experience, you think about trying to reconnect to become one, and you still got no voices telling you, you know, oh no, it's easy. It's easy. You're already looking for relief.
Yep.
But then you have the one over here that is just so tired to say, yeah, that relief is better than just to keep fighting this thing. So we really have to be conscious of what you just said. Looking at people, hear people, just talk to them, or even the facial expressions of people.
Yeah. What about some of the other side? And I know we're gonna go a little over with this one. I know we're probably gonna be a part 3. But what are some of the signs that you may look for? I'm looking for how someone withdraws.
That's what I was thinking.
Your conversation's different. Somebody may be starting to get some of their affairs in order.
Ooh, no, that's another one.
Just out of the blue. Not because you may have, you know, heard something on you know, from work, or, you know, you've had the what do they call, the health fair, the health benefits thing, and you know, hey, I heard about this and I think it's time I go ahead and do this, and you know, you may even sit down as a couple and, you know, you start to plan those things out. But the change in their walk, change in their attitude, change in the conversation, like I said before, just withdrawing, not being who they normally are, and then they may start to say, you know what, I need to get some things together. I need to be by myself. That's nothing but the devil's playground.
That's it.
When he can get you by yourself.
That's it.
And you get into such a state, and you are like, I can't hear anything else but him. That's a dangerous place to be in.
It absolutely is. And that's when you start to get weaker and weaker, and it's harder to fight the loudest one that's in your ear.
That's right.
And you know, you made me think of something else too. People appearance, their energy level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, because you have somebody who's always happy, jolly, bouncing off the wall, and you said withdrawal, they start that way, and then they're always tired. Their appetite starts to decrease, you know, and they're looking disheveled, and all of these things. It's a lot of physical signs. I think we just haven't been made aware enough of, I think, that to pay attention. Yeah. Because just what you just said, when you start seeing those things, people come to assumptions. They start to assume things. So, yeah.
But you're not thinking about what their mental state is.
Absolutely.
that's we chalk it up to other things. We write them off and say, don't worry about them. They just doing this. They just doing that. And it really doesn't matter. Oh, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
They're not all right.
They are not okay. They are not okay. And I think in some instances, people are crying out for help.
Yes, they are. To me, that is a cry for help.
Yep.
I've worked in the medical field for a long time, and I've seen people that wanted to take their life.
Yeah.
Because they felt hopeless. They were in such a depressive state that they felt absolutely hopeless. They felt like there was nothing else for them. And I can tell you, when I had encountered it, and this was just a few years ago, where I would see it all the time. And my first instinct was pray for him. That was my first instinct, because one, I didn't know him.
Okay.
Number two, and I said, I'm gonna let the professionals do their thing, but I'm gonna go to a healer.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm gonna pray for them. And it felt good to be able to do that. Yeah. And ask God to release them from that bondage that they were in. Yeah. Release them from that depressive state. Drop those chains off of them. Allow their mind to be free, and Holy Spirit, you take over inside of them.
Yeah.
And it's been times where I've had to do that, and I've done that actually several times. And it's a good feeling when you see that person still walking around today.
Yes. And not just for you to get the accolades if you did something, but people's lives matter.
That's right.
Because we matter to God.
That's right.
And you were just being obedient. Just being obedient.
But you know what? And just what you said is that, for accolades, they didn't even know I did it.
That part.
Still don't know that I did it.
That part.
And I'll probably never tell them that I did it.
Yeah. That part there.
But the other part to that too is to not just ask God to do those things, but then I'm asking for that person to receive the relationship that they need, so we don't go back in reverse and pick up those things that we had before, but we continue to move forward. So now I'm hoping that they're living with the Holy Spirit and that they're being guided by the Spirit.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to see anybody into that place of where they've lost their joy.
Yeah.
And they feel hopeless. They have no faith. Because I'm sorry, and I could be wrong, but I feel that when you are in that place, you have lost your faith. If you are a believer, you've lost your faith. How do you get it back?
Because I was just going to say,
come on.
What do you do? Because you're at the ledge, and it just takes another step for you.
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But if I was 10 steps back here, I still have some. So when I get to this point, how do I get it back?
Yeah.
But I pray that people look once they're back and said that, I'm still here. I get another opportunity.
That's right.
I'm going to do this differently. Or even seek help to say, how do I do this differently?
That's right.
Because I can't do the same thing that I was doing, because it's going to get me back to the ledge even faster, because I've already traveled this road.
That's right.
So it's familiar to me. So what do I do so I can stay away from that ledge?
Gotta get in your word. Gotta get in your word. You gotta search scriptures. And let me ask this question, because this is what I love to do.
Okay.
When I feel myself in a place of where I'm just like, just not feeling it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Got stuff going on all over the place, especially with, with work.
Mm-hmm.
And I get in the car, or I even get in the house, and I have my own concert. I got my own. I sing good by myself, okay? I sound good by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm making a joyful noise to the Lord, right? But that's when I feel when you start singing some of those old hymns. And it's like I have my playlist, where I start kind of slow, and then I bring it all the way up to where I really need to be. And I'm in here with the Spirit, and I'm in my car with the Spirit, and I don't care if there's a noise ordinance. I don't care what's going on, because I'm not turning it down. But I just feel so much better. I feel so good when I'm able to do that. And it's like the Spirit is there. I know the Spirit is inside of me, but it's like He wakes up. It's like He's been resting, like I've been resting through the night, and then He wake up, and then we are just, we are able to commune together. And it's just something about putting on some of your favorite songs that are able to connect with what you're going through, with things that you're dealing with, and say, you know what, this ain't gonna get me down.
I mean, you right all in my lane, because, life be life, man. So, sometimes I feel like I can't even get into the word, because I can't even, it's almost like I can't connect with it.
Yeah.
So I got a playlist that's called Praise and Worship. But I'm the opposite. I start real slow and I stay there. And it gets me to the mindset of intimacy, love, and once I come out of it, I feel like I've been rested in my daddy's arms. And the peace, it's not even peace in that moment. It's almost like weight. It's just lifted. And my session in the car, I had one this morning, and I was like, "Ooh, I know these people think I'm crazy," because I was raising my hand, I was wiping tears.
That's right.
And I was like, I don't even care, because by the time I got to work, I was refreshed. I don't know what my face looked like.
It doesn't matter.
But I was refreshed. And that is something, for somebody who feels like I can't, because people will say, well, go to the word. And sometimes you can't do anything but cry out to God.
You can't.
You can't even get in the word. You have to literally cry out to Him. And to do that, to try that, to literally cry out to your Father.
That's right.
So you can rest in His arms.
That's right. And when you start doing that heaviness, just like what you just said, that weight, that heaviness starts to fall off of you. You can feel like, it's like you're almost like you're floating off the ground.
And when you come out of it, it's almost like, okay, what was that
what just
about?
happened? Yeah.
What's that?
Hold on, what was I upset about?
Right.
Oh, okay. It may take me a minute to figure out what I was upset. And it's like, okay, well, it's over now. It's
That's
over now.
Exactly right.
But it takes some, and it may be an instantaneous moment for some people. It may be something that you kind of, build up to if you are, not able to lift your hands, and it was my first lady, and she said, because I think she had looked at somebody and she said, she's able to raise her hands because she's free now. At one point in time, she couldn't do it. And I even remember, okay, here I am. Raise your hand, lift your hands, and I'm like this. Now I'm free to be able to do those things, And but I'm at that point now. I'm at that stage of where I don't care. Right. We was in church this past Sunday, and it felt so good to be back in church because we hadn't been in there a couple of weeks because of Hurricane Helene, who came through here and did a real number on the Augusta area. But I was in church and I just got so filled, and tears was just running down my face, and I'm just patting because I have my foundation on, but I'm just patting. Like, please don't bust out in that ugly cry. But it felt so good, you know, to be in there. And I just felt like I'm back in the sanctuary. And I feel so good to just let, you know, this weight come off of me with so much that we had dealt with. But, and honestly, that hurricane probably put people
Absolutely.
in a state of depression.
Absolutely.
We're going to pause.
Okay.
Because goodness.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'll tell you, stuff just be hitting us. But we are going to pause here. And I know that some people have probably heard about Hurricane Helene. We're going to come back again on the next episode, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how that hurricane possibly put people in a depressive state because of the things that they were going through. So please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when Small Talk with Kenya and Dawn comes on, which premieres every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. So until next time, have a great day.